discovered. As she faced labor, her ex-husband doctor gave an amazing, life-changing surprise. The evening sun dipped low over Maple Street, painting a warm glow on the tidy homes of Emma's suburb. As the laughter of children filled the air, she felt the weight of her worries swelling inside her. With her first child, Grace, nestled in the corner with crayons and a stack of paper, Emma paced in their small living room, acutely aware of the late stage of her pregnancy. The world outside thrived, but she felt like a ghost drifting through a dream. Memories of her rocky separation from Jake, her ex-husband, haunted her thoughts. She gazed at Grace, who looked up with innocent eyes and felt an aching blend of love and anxiety. She hadn't planned for a second child, and now, balancing a part-time job and preparations for a newborn, pushed her to her limits. It felt like the tight-knit community around her was both a lifeline and a cage. Whenever she stepped outside, whispers loomed like storm clouds, judgment clinging to the air. "Mommy, can we go to the park?" Grace's bright voice broke the fog of anxiety. Emma forced a smile, not wanting to dim her daughter's joy. "Soon, sweetheart." But soon was a vague promise. Her heart raced with uncertainty, and each day felt like an uphill battle as financial strains piled up. As if sensing her distress, her neighbors often dropped by with meals or offers of help, but the kindness felt bittersweet. It reminded her of the strong family she didn't have anymore, the support system shattered by circumstances. As the evening stretched on, Emma felt the first pangs of labor grip her like a reality check. Panic rose as she glanced at her phone. Then it rang, a lifeline. Jake's name flashed on the screen. Reluctantly, she answered, her heart pounding. "Hey, Emma. Just checking in." There was sincerity in his voice, but that old tension hung between them. Their conversation spiraled quickly, revealing the hidden pain of their past, unearthing every regret they had buried. Emma's voice faltered, memories of laughter and shared dreams colliding with their harsh reality. Before she could catch her breath, Jake dropped the bombshell. "I took a leave from work. I'm going to be there when you go into labor." A mix of gratitude and dread washed over her. Did this gesture mean reconciliation? Or was it merely a cruel reminder of what they'd lost? The thought of him coming back into her space stirred old feelings, making her heart race. Could they navigate through this tension? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. With labor intensifying, Emma stared at Grace's innocent smile as her thoughts raced. Would having Jake present help or hurt? The idea of co-parenting felt daunting, especially with their history. As the clock ticked, tensions rose within her, not just from her physical pain, but the storm of emotions swirling around the future of their family. Standing on the threshold of an unknown future, Emma found herself asking if forgiveness and second chances could heal their fractured paths. As the shadows of their past loomed large, would they embrace the opportunity to build something new together? Or would they be trapped forever in the echoes of their mistakes? The answer felt just beyond her reach, shimmering like the fading sunlight outside. Emma clutched her belly, feeling another contraction ripple through her. Each wave sent a jolt of reality coursing through her, mingled with uncertainty about Jake's return. Would he truly be there for her? Or would old wounds reopen with every shared glance? Gritting her teeth, she turned her focus back to Grace, who was now fully immersed in her drawings, an anchor in the swirling sea of her emotions. "Mommy!" Grace called out, holding up a crude drawing of a rainbow stretching across a mishmash of colorful houses. "Look! It's us!" The innocent joy radiating from her daughter brought a surge of warmth to Emma's heart, but it contrasted sharply with the apprehension building within her. For a moment, she lost herself in Grace's vibrant world, wishing to stay in that bubble, where life was simple and worries were just shadows lurking at the edges. "It's beautiful, sweetheart," Emma replied, kneeling beside her to peer at the masterpiece. The colors danced vividly, a testament to Grace's imagination. "Just like you." In that moment, she could almost forget about the swelling dread of impending labor. But just then, a sharp pain shot through her, stronger than the last. She inhaled sharply, gripping the couch for support. "I think it's happening," she whispered, her heart racing. Before she could process it fully, the door swung open. Jake stood there looking anxious yet determined. "Emma." His voice sliced through her haze of pain, pulling her back from the depths of her thoughts. "You okay?" Surprise mixed with apprehension as she glanced up at him. "What are you doing here?" "I told you I'd be here," he said, stepping inside with purpose. Grace's eyes widened, her pencil pausing mid-stroke as she looked between her parents, sensing the riptide of emotions. "Mommy, look, it's Daddy!" Grace chirped innocently, a glimmer of excitement in her voice. Emma's heart sank, torn between the warmth of the little family unit her daughter so desperately hoped to preserve and the complicated history that stood in stark contrast. "Grace, sweetie, can you go to your room for a moment?" Emma asked gently, her eyes darting nervously to Jake. "Maybe finish your drawing." "Okay, Mommy." Grace's voice was bright as she bounced off, leaving the tension thick in the air. Emma shifted, trying to catch her breath, feeling adrenaline surge with the next contraction. "You shouldn't be here, Jake. This isn't the time." Her voice shook, vulnerability spilling over where she meant to build walls. "I know it's a mess," he said, stepping closer. "But I need to be here for you. For both of you. We can figure this out." His sincerity hit her like a gust of fresh air, yet it also unsettled her more. The chaos of their past mixed with a hint of hope for their future. "But do you really mean that?" Before Jake could answer, another contraction seized her, and she doubled over, breathing heavily. The world around her receded, each second stretching longer as everything else faded into silence. "Emma, focus on me," Jake urged, moving to her side. His presence was comforting, yet she felt the familiar tug of unresolved feelings pulling at her. "Stay with me. You're strong. You can do this." Looking up at him, she saw his eyes, filled with a depth of concern that stirred something old within her. Could she trust him? Could they truly stand together through this? Then her phone buzzed on the coffee table, pulling her attention momentarily. It was a message from her sister. "I'm on my way. Just hang in there." A glimmer of relief flickered in Emma's heart. But what about Jake? Would he still be there when the dust settled? With each painful breath, she knew they were at a crossroads, one that could lead to either healing or heartbreak. "Are we really doing this?" Emma breathed out, a hint of defiance in her tone. The question lingered, echoing in the space between them. And just as she felt the storm inside her calm slightly, another contraction surged, more powerful than the last. The moment of truth was close. Would they step into the unknown together? Or would the past pull them under once more? The contraction gripped Emma fiercely, a relentless reminder that time was slipping away. She squeezed her eyes shut, focusing on breathing through the pain. With each wave, she felt the ground beneath her shift. Everything was changing again. "Emma!" Jake's voice broke through her thoughts, thick with urgency. "Look at me, please." She opened her eyes, meeting his gaze. His brow was furrowed, eyes wide with concern. But there was something deeper than worry. A flicker of hope? "Just breathe," he coached, mirroring her breathing patterns. It felt utterly foreign, that he was trying to help her in this moment, yet so desperately human. But as she exhaled a shaky breath, doubt crept back in. "This isn't how I pictured this moment," she whispered, almost to herself. "I imagined you here, not like this." "Things have been tough," he admitted, stepping closer as she clenched her fists, each contraction a reminder of their shared struggle. "But I know I haven't been the man you needed. I'm trying to change that." The walls she built inside herself cracked under the pressure. Then Grace peeked around the corner, her wide eyes full of concern. "Mommy, are you okay?" Emma's heart swelled at her daughter's innocent worry, but it also tightened. "Sweetie, I'm fine. Just a bit tired. Why don't you go grab your favorite toy to show me?" Grace obliged, and for that moment of silence, Emma felt weightless. It was just her and Jake, the tension thick as smoke. "Can we really get through this together?" she asked, feeling fear claw at her throat. "I want to," Jake responded, his intensity cutting through her anxieties. "And I mean it, Emma. Whatever it takes. You're not alone." But his presence sparked memories like a flickering film reel, moments of love, laughter, pain, and heartbreak. Every good time washed over her, swirling with the bitter taste of their break. A low moan escaped her lips as another contraction took hold, much stronger this time. "I can't," Emma gasped, bowing forward as pain lanced through her. "Focus, we're so close now," Jake urged, his hand finding the small of her back. The warmth of his palm sent a shiver through her. Would she still feel that warmth when it was all said and done? As Grace returned, toy dinosaur in hand, she rushed to Emma, eyes wide with amazement. "Look, Mommy! It's T-Rex! He's going to protect you!" The child's excitement was a balm on Emma's soul. "Thank you, Grace. I feel stronger with T-Rex here," Emma replied, forcing a smile even as her body trembled. And then the world crashed down around her again as the next contraction surged, pushing her closer to the brink. "I need to go to the hospital," she gasped, the urgency rushing back. Okay, Jake reassured her, his face a mask of determination. "We can do this. Just hold on." With a nod, she tried to focus. The air felt thick with anticipation, and doubt shadowed her thoughts. Was this really happening? Did she dare hope for a happy ending? But her phone buzzed again, and this time it was her sister. "I'm outside. I'll come in." "I need to go," Emma said, struggling to rise from the couch. And as Jake helped her stand, another wave racked through her, fierce and unyielding. She met his gaze. The connection felt vital and electric. In that crucial moment, a thought flickered through her mind. If she let him in, could they find a way back together? "Jake, are you ready for this?" she breathed, heart pounding with fear and hope. "I've never been more ready," he replied, and Emma thought she saw something shift in his eyes. But just then, the world dissolved into pain once more, sending them both tumbling into the unknown as they prepared for the journey ahead. Would this be the beginning of their shared healing, or the end of the fragile truce they had forged? The world blurred around Emma as the next contraction hit, crashing into her like a tidal wave. She gasped, gripping Jake's arm tightly, her nails digging into his skin. Her breath quickened. "I can't do this. Not like this." "You're stronger than you know," Jake murmured, his voice steady, almost soothing. "We're going to the hospital." But her entire body felt frozen, caught between cars on a highway with no way out. Panic pulsed through her veins, battling the steady rhythm of her contractions. She started to shake. Just then, Grace tugged at her shirt, eyes wide with misunderstanding. "Mommy, why are you crying?" "T-Rex says it's okay. We can go to the hospital." Emma blinked back tears, forcing a smile for her daughter's sake. "You're right, sweetie. T-Rex is a brave dinosaur. I need to be brave too. The door swung open, and her sister Anna stepped inside with a flood of sunlight behind her. Emma, I'm here. What do you need? Seeing Anna filled some of the hollow space in Emma's heart. She was always the strong one between the two, the rock when everything else felt like it was crumbling away. I need to get to the hospital, Emma barely managed to say through her breaths. Okay, let's get you to the car, Anna said, sliding an arm around Emma's waist, and together they moved slowly toward the door. Jake fell into step beside them, his expression a jumble of emotions. Concern, anxiety, but more than that, determination. Her heart fluttered. Could he really mean what he said? Did he truly want to be there for her? By the time they reached the car, the contractions came sharp and fast. I can't wait. It hurts too much, she whispered urgently, clutching Jake's hand as he helped her into the back seat. Stay with me, Emma. Just focus on your breathing, Anna said, climbing into the seat beside her, preparing to guide Emma through the chaos. With every jolt of the car, waves of pressure rolled through her. The world outside rushed past in a blur, a mosaic of homes and skies, all indifferent to the struggle inside the vehicle. Time felt elastic. Seconds stretched into eternities. As they drove, Jake didn't leave her side. He leaned closer, eyes locked with hers, and she felt his unwavering encouragement. You've got this. We're almost there. But with another surge of pain that tore through her, doubt crept back in. What if he couldn't keep his promise? What if she was making a mistake by letting him in again? Emma, he said softly, breaking through her scared thoughts. I'm sorry for everything. I want to be here for you. For us. His words hung heavy in the air, stirring something deep within her. She tried to nod, to say she understood, but as another contraction hit, all she could do was gasp, fight, and lean into his presence. They screeched to a stop outside the hospital. Adrenaline surged through her as she could almost feel her heart thumping in her throat. Okay, we're here, Anna exclaimed, rushing to open the back door. Stay close, Jake urged, turning to Emma with an intensity that shouldn't have felt familiar yet, had been so deeply ingrained in her being from the past. As she stepped out, the cool air swept over her, sharp and invigorating. She instinctively reached for Jake's hand again, a silent plea for support, a promise that if they navigated this chaos together, there might be a chance to forge something new. But then, from behind her, the unmistakable sound of laughter broke through the tension, and Emma turned to see a familiar face that sent her heart racing. Not just from the impending labor, but from an unexpected sense of dread. Is everything okay? The voice called out, and as Emma's eyes met the source, she froze, caught between fear and a flicker of hope. What if this unexpected meeting changed everything yet again? Emma turned slowly, her heart pounding in time with the contractions constricting her abdomen. There he stood, Dr. Ethan Cole, her ex-husband, a mix of concern and delight dancing in his eyes. The sun caught his hair, making him look almost ethereal, but reality crashed in, reminding her of the history between them. Ethan, she breathed, the name heavy on her tongue. A mix of emotions surged, anger, nostalgia, and undeniable vulnerability. She quickly glanced at Anna and Jake, their faces dulled as they processed what was unfolding. Emma, I heard you were in labor, Ethan said, stepping closer, his voice steady, though she could sense an urgency beneath his calm demeanor. I'm on call. Let me help you. No! The reflexive shout startled her, and she winced as another contraction rolled through her. The last thing she wanted was for Ethan to see her in this state, laid bare and exposed, her walls collapsing. Emma, he said firmly but gently, you're going to need someone who knows you. You need... Someone who knows me? She interrupted, the heat of anger rising. You're the one who left. You don't get to play the hero now. Please don't... Ethan began, but pain tore through her, cutting his words short. It was becoming harder to find her breath, as if the air around her had grown thick and heavy. "Mommy," Grace said softly, looking up at her mother, sensing the tension in the air. Emma forced a smile that felt feeble. "Grace, it's okay, honey, just—" "Look, Emma," Ethan said, cool and calm despite the storm around them. "I know what you're feeling isn't easy, but I swear I can help. I want to make this right." Right. She felt suffocated under the weight of that word. They had tried to make things right once before. You don't get to claim that after everything. But part of her, a small voice, whispered that perhaps he really did want to make amends. The idea was almost intoxicating. She could see it in his eyes. He still cared, even if she found it hard to let go of the past. Then, as if sensing her internal battle, Jake stepped in, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "Emma, it's your call. I'll support you no matter what you decide." Emma's breath hitched as another contraction rolled through her with ferocity. I can't think straight." "Let me take some of that weight off your shoulders," Ethan urged. "This is about you now. Let's get you to a room." With a nod from Anna, they helped Emma navigate toward the hospital entrance. She felt Jake's hand squeeze hers, while Ethan was just ahead, clearing the way. Once inside, the bright lights and sterile smells engulfed her, and with each step, doubt crept back in. What if inviting Ethan into this moment was a mistake? But the urge to have someone familiar by her side made her pause. Minutes stretched into what felt like hours. As they approached the maternity ward, Emma's heart flickered with uncertainty. The laughter of nurses and distant cries echoed off the walls, and she felt as if this weren't just about bringing her baby into the world, but also confronting a past she thought she'd buried. "All right, you're doing great," Ethan said, as they reached the nurses' station. "We'll get you settled in." As they moved into the room, Emma's focus shifted. The world outside faded, and she felt a new wave of strength coursing through her. A sense of sisterhood washed over as Anna Prep talked while Jake stood ready, offering comfort in any way he could. Just as she settled into the hospital bed and began to breathe through her pain, another contraction twisted its way through her. The weight of everything felt too immense to carry. She glanced sideways at Ethan, who was now fully engaging, showing his old confidence in managing the situation. But as a fierce expression crossed his face, a sudden worry lit a fire in Emma's chest. Could she truly allow him back in? Could she forgive the years of hurt and make room for potential healing? "Emma," Ethan said, his voice dropping to an intimate whisper as if reading her thoughts. "We can't change the past, but maybe—" The lights flickered slightly, and amidst the chaos, a nurse stepped in, her beaming smile cutting through the tension. "All right, we have heartbeats and strong signs. Let's get ready for this miracle." With her attention yanked back to the present, Emma's heart raced. As the wave of reality hit, the urgency deepened, and she realized there was no turning back. Each beat brought them closer to something monumental, yet the question of what lay ahead loomed larger still. Would they emerge from this moment whole, or would it all unravel as before? As she squared her shoulders, determination building, she knew she had to make a choice. Could she continue to trust? The moment of truth was fast approaching, and everything hung in delicate balance. The room pulsed with energy, a mix of hushed voices and the constant beeping of machines. Emma's heart felt like it might burst through her chest. She could hear the distant cry of another newborn, each sound tugging at her emotions. Exhilaration and trepidation danced together in her spirit. "Breathe, Emma, in and out," Jake coached, his voice grounding her amid the chaos. She nodded, focusing on his words, but a wave of anxiety rushed over her again. What would happen when her baby finally arrived? Ethan moved about the room with purpose, setting up equipment, and Emma couldn't help but follow him with her eyes. There was a familiarity in the way he worked, precise, confident, and utterly calm. Yet, that confidence felt foreign given what they had shared. "Emma, how are you feeling?" Ethan asked, suddenly turning to her, his brow slightly furrowed. "Like I want to throw something," she replied, voice strained. The pain was coming harder now, waves crashing against her, leaving her gasping for breath. "I understand," he said, stepping closer. "But you're safe here. Just focus on breathing." His presence was a double-edged sword. She wanted to let him in, to nurture the flicker of warmth that ignited at the thought of his support. But old wounds reopened with each passing second. "Do you really think you can just step in like this?" Emma said through clenched teeth as another contraction hit. "You left Ethan. You left me." "I did," he admitted softly. "But I also thought I was protecting you. From me." "Protecting me? Was that before or after you shattered everything?" Before he could respond, another surge of pain hit, squeezing her insides like a vice. Emma grabbed onto the sheets, white-knuckled. "Stay with me. You can do this," Jake urged, rubbing her back in slow circles. She could feel the warmth of his support, a reminder of how he stood by her through so much. Okay, Emma said through jagged breaths, seeking a balance between pain and strength. She needed to channel her anguish into something productive. She needed to focus, to find the goal at the end. Then, in a moment of clarity, Emma locked eyes with Ethan. For the briefest flash, she saw a man who bore the weight of remorse and the flicker of hope. "Ethan," she whispered, the words escaping her before she could think. "I'm here, Emma," he said urgently. "I'm not going anywhere. Just let me help you." Tears brimmed in her eyes as she cycled through conflicting emotions. Could she actually let him back in? The sound of beeping machines pulsed like a heartbeat, harmonizing with the rapid rhythm of her thoughts. The truth was she didn't want to face this alone. Maybe accepting his presence wouldn't mean erasing the past, but forging a new path. "Help me. Please," she finally breathed, surrendering to the vulnerability as pain ripped through her once again. As Ethan took his place at her side, Emma felt the room shift. He took her hand, offering strength palpable enough to drown her fears. "You're going to be amazing, Emma," he said, his grip firm and reassuring. The nurse came back in, readying the equipment with a smile. "Let's breathe through this next one. Remember, each contraction brings you closer." It felt surreal. Each breath, each shudder, was part of this turbulent dance of life. And in the shifting mix of joy, anger, regret, and hope, Emma found herself at a precipice. Together, she found herself asking Ethan, the word trembling on her lips like a fragile tightrope. "Always," he replied, a solemn vow that hung between them, both hopeful and heavy. As she focused on the next contraction, a sudden flood of emotions crashed over her. A fierce determination intertwined with the hope that perhaps a new beginning was on the horizon. But with every promise of redemption, doubt lingered like a shadow. Could hearts truly heal? And could they mend what was broken through this moment of creation? Emma took a deep breath, bracing for what was to come, aware that the moment would not just change her life, but question everything she thought she knew about Ethan, and about love itself. As the pain intensified, she steeled herself for the storm, teetering on the edge of fear and faith. What lay ahead was unknown, but one thing was clear. The path to motherhood was riddled with pain, but also the undeniable possibility of healing. And just as she closed her eyes to ride the next wave of contractions, a single thought reverberated in her mind. How would everything unfurl from here? Emma closed her eyes tightly, battling the relentless surge of pain coursing through her body. Every contraction felt like a tidal wave, crashing down and then receding, leaving her gasping for relief. As she rode the wave, she tried to focus on Ethan's voice, soft and steady at her side. "Focus, Emma. Just focus on me," he said, never breaking his gaze. His hand tightened around hers, sending a jolt of warmth through her. A small part of her wanted to pull away, to shout her anger and fear, but the pain made her cling to him instead. She feared the storm inside, fear of losing him again, of being broken once more. Another wave of agony hit, and her breath hitched. "Come on, Emma, you can do this, just a little longer," Jake encouraged, his presence as a steady anchor in the chaos. She glanced at him, his face filled with unwavering belief in her strength. The minutes dragged on, each one an eternity. It felt like a dance, a haunting rhythm where every rise was followed by a fall. Finally, the nurse returned to check her progress, her brow furrowing with concern as she assessed the situation. "It's getting close, Emma. Just a few more pushes and we'll finally meet your baby," the nurse announced, her voice calm yet carrying the weight of the moment. "What if I can't?" Emma whispered, fear creeping back into her mind. She shifted her gaze, fleetingly catching Ethan's eyes again. There was a storm there too, but one of emotion rather than pain. "You can, Emma. You are stronger than you know," Ethan reassured, breathing steady through the tension. "I believe in you." "Why do you think I can do this?" "You left," she gasped, challenging his faith in her strength amidst the storm. The vulnerability in her words hung in the air, creating a bridge between their fractured past and uncertain future. "Because I've seen you fight for everything you care about. You fought for us, Emma, and now you're fighting for your child." His voice was thick, a blend of sincerity and regret. Another contraction pitched her into the eye of the storm. Emma's body cried out, her muscles demanding release as she surrendered to the rhythm. They were no longer two separate lives. They were entwined in this moment of creation. In that connection, she felt a small flicker of warmth amid the icy grip of fear. The nurse encouraged her, her voice lifting with excitement. "Okay, on the next contraction, let's push." Emma locked eyes with both men, Ethan and Jake, feeling a strange sense of unity in their shared goal. It wasn't just about her. It was about bringing a new life into the world. Taking a deep breath, she concentrated, ready to push, embracing all of her emotions, fear, love, anger, hope, all merging forward. But in that instant, everything shifted. The door swung open, and in strode a familiar figure, face alight with determination that mirrored her own. Her mother. "Emma!" her mom shouted, rushing into the chaos. "What are you doing here?" Emma gasped, her focus wavering. "I couldn't stay away, sweetheart. I knew you needed me," her mother said, rushing to her side. The warmth of her presence wrapped around Emma like a comforting blanket. "Mom, The wave of emotion hit her harder than the contractions. All the relief, all the love. It felt overwhelming. "Just breathe, her mother coached, seamlessly stepping into the rhythm that had been set. Ethan and Jake exchanged glances, surprised yet relieved by the unexpected support. "Let's do this together, Emma," her mom said, placing her hand on Emma's forehead, wiping the sweat that had collected there. With newfound strength burning within her, Emma felt the determination rise high. She clenched her jaw, her heart a mix of emotions, fury and relief, love and fear coiling tight. "Together," she whispered. And as the next contraction rolled in, Emma embraced the support around her, feeling for the first time that perhaps she truly wasn't alone. But just as she prepared for the final push, a new thought crossed her mind. Could a new beginning truly blossom from this chaos? What if everything she knew was about to change again? Another wave hit, heavier, more intense. Emma focused on the burden of the moment, her breaths quickening, her heartbeat thundering in her ears. Just as she sought to gather her strength for the final push, a sudden noise caught her attention. A word, a name. "Emma!" The voice was unmistakable. She turned her head, and her heart twisted in her chest. Standing in the doorway, eyes wide with urgency and concern, was Dr. Mark, her ex-husband, now dressed in scrubs. The emotion that flickered across his face sent a jolt through Emma's body stronger than any contraction. "Mark, what are you doing here?" she gasped, momentarily losing her grip on the world around her. "I'm here to help. I couldn't leave you, not now," he said, rushing across the room with all the confidence of a man who had faced life-and-death decisions. His presence, once a source of heartache, now felt surreal, like the calm before the storm. "Mom, we can do this together," Emma's mother urged, pulling Emma's focus back. The tension in Emma's body tightened once again as she felt the pull of the pressure deep within. Mark stepped closer, his eyes locked with hers. "Emma, if you let me, I promise to help you through this. We'll figure it out. Together." Emma's mind raced. Could she really stand beside him again, even in this moment of vulnerability and fear? Regret lingered in the back of her mind, but there was also a glimmer of hope, an unspoken possibility. "Please, don't let this be another painful moment," she whispered, practically begging both him and herself. "I don't know if I can handle it." "You're already handling it, Emma. You've shown more strength than you realize," Mark replied softly, kneeling beside her. "Let me help." With each passing second, she felt both uncertainty and a flicker of trust growing. "How?" she managed to ask. "Just follow my lead. I'll walk you through it," he said, ushering the nurse aside gently. His presence was steady, and despite the past they shared, right now he felt solid. "Whenever you're ready, I'll count for you. Just like the old days." Emma took a shaky breath, her heart caught between the world of memories and the chaotic present. She could feel the walls of desperation closing in. She had so many scars, but at that moment, she deeply craved healing. The contractions came again, more powerful than before, and it felt like they formed a mountain she had to climb. "Together," she whispered, as if the word could stitch the past and present into something new, something beautiful. Mark nodded, focused with all of his energy on her. He counted softly. 1, 2, 3. Ethan and Jake leaned in, joining in, each man's encouragement mingling in the air above Emma, lifting her. She dropped her head back slightly, finding strength in their united voices, in that moment of shared faith. With every push, she could feel her body responding, like she was finally aligning with the rhythm of something greater than herself. It was painful, yes, but it was also electrifying. "Just a bit more, Emma. You're almost there." Her mom cheered, and with that, Emma pushed one last time, summoning every ounce of her will. And then... silence. She looked around as if in a trance, waiting for the next sound. Suddenly, the air filled with a piercing cry, the sound of life that made her heart leap. Hot tears streamed down her cheeks, both from exhaustion and sheer joy. As she turned her head toward the small, swaddled bundle they held, a question bubbled up inside her. What would her new life look like with this baby? And more importantly, what would her relationship with Mark become now? At that moment, Mark's fingers brushed against hers, grounding her back to the present. Their eyes locked. Unspoken promises hung heavily in the air. But as reality settled, so did the weight of uncharted territory. How would they navigate this new path, once fraught with heartbreak, now filled with possibility? The room felt electric with potential. And still, the most pressing question lingered. Would Emma allow herself to trust him again? In this moment of new beginnings, could they find a way to heal together? Emma's eyes fell on the tiny face of her newborn, and the overwhelming wave of emotion took her breath away. That little squirming bundle felt like an anchor, grounding her to this moment, where hope flickered in the unexpected bond between her past and her future. She could hardly shake off the feeling that everything was shifting, and Mark was right in the thick of it. "Emma, He's perfect, Mark said, his voice thick with an emotion she hadn't heard in a long time. He reached out, brushing a gentle finger against the baby's cheek, and she felt a spark of something. A connection, maybe. It sent a shiver through her, reminding her that they were here together, at least for this moment. But as the reality of their life settled in, that connection felt dangerously fragile. His presence turned comforting, yet it brought back the memories of how they had unraveled. The laughter and tears they'd once shared blinked through her mind, but so did the heartbreak and the chaos of their split. Emma glanced down at her baby, feeling the weight of this new life. "What do we do now, Mark?" she asked, her voice shaking slightly. "We take it one day at a time," he replied. His eyes were earnest, and it reminded her of the man she once fell for, the man who guided rather than pushed. Ethan and Jake chimed in with encouragement, their voices weaving warmth through the tension. "You're doing great, Emma. He's so lucky to have you," Jake said, a wide grin on his face. Exhaustion hung heavy in the air as they shared smiles and laughter, but beneath it all lay Emma's uncertainty. Could they go back to being the family she had envisioned? Could they start fresh, unencumbered by past mistakes? Mark observed her, and for a moment, it felt like they were both trapped in an unspoken conversation. "Emma," he ventured softly, "we can be a family again, you know. If you want that." There it was, the heart of the matter laid bare. Her chest tightened, the weight of the question settling deeper than even childbirth's pain. She had spent long nights wondering if trust could ever be rebuilt, if the scars of their past could heal into something beautiful. Suddenly, the nurse entered the room, breaking the spell. "We need to do some checks on the baby," she chirped. "All business now." Mark seamlessly flowed into doctor mode, donning a look of concentration that Emma found oddly reassuring. "Why don't you start thinking about names while I handle this?" he suggested as he moved to assist the nurse. The normalcy of his actions both thrilled and terrified her. Names. What a simple yet profound step. Her mind whirred with possibilities, moments of joy and laughter flooding her thoughts. But then it hit her. The weight of naming a new life could either bind her to the past or liberate her into the future. "Back to square one," she muttered under her breath, her heart racing with the decision hanging ahead. "Emma?" Mark's voice cut through her swirling thoughts. He looked over his shoulder, a questioning look in his eyes. "You all right?" "Just thinking," she replied, forcing a smile. She needed time, not just for her baby, but for them too. When the nurse finally cleaned the baby and handed him over, Emma felt her heart lift. Wrapping her arms around the precious bundle sparked an instant connection, raw and primal. "Hey, little guy," she breathed, marveling at the soft fuzz of his hair, the tiny fingers that curled around hers. "What's your name?" But the uncertainty loomed. What kind of future would this innocent child have? And what decision would she make about the past? The weight of her baby's future knocked against her heart like a drum. Mark watched her, his expression inscrutable, and she couldn't shake the feeling that everything hinged on the choice she was about to make. And then it struck her. Each name held a story. Unbeknownst to her, her own story was tied to this little life forever now. And behind that story lay a chance for reconciliation. But as she looked into Mark's eyes, the question loomed larger than ever. Could she bear the weight of their shared past while forging a new path? Would she dare to hope again? The air in the hospital room felt thick with unspoken words and heavy emotions as Emma held her newborn close. The weight of the tiny bundle in her arms anchored her to the moment, grounding her amidst the swirling chaos of her thoughts. Mark approached with purpose, ready to continue monitoring the baby, his demeanor a mixture of professionalism and a tenderness she hadn't seen in a long time. "Emma," he began, taking his place next to her, his hand brushing against the baby's soft head. "He's beautiful." Emma's heart swelled with pride but also fear, battling between joy of this new life and the uncertainty of her relationship with Mark. "Do you have any names in mind?" he asked gently, and she felt her heart skip. The question hung in the air, whispering promises of what could be. It filled her with both excitement and trepidation. "This is so surreal, Mark," she said quietly, her eyes fluttering down to the baby's face. I never imagined it would be like this." The memories of their shared past weighed heavily, but she also felt the flicker of hope igniting as she let herself glimpse a potential future. "Neither did I, but this moment is ours now," he said softly, genuine sincerity lacing his words, and for the first time, Emma believed there might be room for reconciliation. As they stared at the newborn, a tender silence enveloped the room. Ethan and Jake stood a little distance away, their presence a solid reminder of the journey she had just traversed. There was strength in their unity, and as Emma felt the pull of new beginnings, she glanced between them, wondering if the tapestry of their lives could be woven back together again. Maybe we could name him after someone who mattered to us both," Emma ventured, the idea forming wings in her mind. "Someone who represents hope and second chances." Mark looked up at her, a flicker of recognition crossing his face. "I like that. What about naming him after your father? Or perhaps we could incorporate a part of your name and my name too." The idea danced in her mind, illustrated by visions of the future, a little boy filled with laughter, surrounded by the warmth of a loving family. Oh, how she longed for that. "Henry Mark. What do you think?" "Henry Mark," Mark whispered, as the name rolled off his tongue like a prayer. Emma could see the spark of something igniting in his eyes, a connection forming that felt so profound amidst the new life they had just welcomed together. Her heart surged with warmth, but she also felt the shadow of their past hovering. "Do you really think we can make this work?" she asked cautiously, her breaths shallow, as uncertainty prickled beneath her skin. Mark nodded slowly. "I believe we can. I know we fell apart, but I'll fight for this family. You and Henry deserve nothing less." As he spoke, Emma felt the weight of old wounds begin to lift. Could forgiveness truly stitch their hearts back together? She wanted to scream yes, but a small voice of caution whispered in her ear. "Emma," Jake said, stepping closer. "Just remember that you have a community around you now. It's okay to lean on us." His words echoed through her, filling the gaps where doubt and fear lingered. The truth of it thundered through her. She didn't have to carry all this on her own. With a flicker of courage, she turned to Mark, who stood with an earnest expression. "Okay, let's do this. Henry Mark it is," she declared, resolution solidifying within her. Just then the nurse entered, her presence brightening the room. "Let's do some quick checks on Henry, shall we?" While the nurse worked efficiently, Emma felt gratitude swell within her. She wasn't alone in this. With Mark by her side, and family nearby, perhaps they had enough strength to redirect the narrative of their lives together. Mark caught her eye, the unspoken words passing silently between them, an understanding blossoming with every tender glance. His fingers brushed her hand as he leaned closer to the baby, nestled between them, an emblem of hope and renewal. Emma's smile radiated warmth. The path ahead would still be uncertain, but they weren't starting from scratch. They were starting anew. The shadows of the past might still linger sometimes, but with resilience and shared purpose, they could carve out their future. "I'm ready," she said softly, a whisper that held so much promise. "Together," Mark replied, and for the first time, it felt like a vow, not just a hope. As they held Henry Mark in their arms, laughter soon filled the room, the sound echoing with relief and joy. The chaos of the outside world faded. All that existed was love, fresh and unfurling like the first bloom of spring. In that moment, Emma realized that life doesn't always unfold like a fairy tale. It can be messy, complicated, and sometimes heartbreaking. But within those complexities lay the opportunity to redefine what a family means. And as she cradled her baby closer, Emma felt her heart swell beyond the fears and doubts, opening wide to the possibilities of a future filled with healing, hope, and love. She finally understood. This was merely the beginning. Now, if you're feeling moved by Emma's story and want to experience more incredible transformations just like this one, you need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support and ensure you don't miss our next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help us grow. I want to hear your reactions, so comment below with your thoughts and feelings about this ending. And don't wait, not even one more second, to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation, because only true fans understand the importance of supporting our channel through these actions.